What's good, everybody? My name is Jamar Sims. I'm the current chapter president for the Delta Iota Chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I am a spring 2020 initiate, and I'm the ace of my line.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Zacharias Lee, and I am a fall 2021 initiate of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and I am the quad of my line.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Jafari Wells. I'm Spring 20 initiate of the Delta Iota Chapter, currently serving as the vice president. And Stroll Master, of course, I'm the quad of my line.
What does Black History mean to each of you?
When I think of Black History and Black History Month, I think of beauty, excellence, power, and strength and culture. Just because of how much we've made an impact on America and things like that. Even though systemically we are always put down and things of that nature, we continue to thrive. We continue to cultivate the culture throughout the country. And we continue to, uphold excellence, especially, as we continue to succeed as a culture.
Yeah, I agree with what you mentioned. For me, Black History Month is a lot about reclamation and resiliency, even though we, as a people, have dealt with some incredible traumas collectively throughout generations. We have continued to persist, continue to improve our positions, and continue to excel in every facet of life. I remember I was watching bull riding at like 3 a.m. one time, and the guy who was winning, he happened to be Black, and that reminded me that everything that we do, that we excel at, and we are the best at. So really just a reclamation, and it really displays and exhibits our resiliency as a people.
Yeah, just to share the sentiment that the brothers have expressed, I feel very similarly about Black History Month. It gives us an opportunity to actually sit down and assess all of the accomplishments that we've made. Even though we all understand that the entirety of the year should be a celebration of Black history, I am especially proud that Black history does have a singular month in which we have the ability to not just talk about it amongst ourselves, but hear corporate interests give their spiel about what they think Black History Month, get Black History Month sales or whatever the case might be. At least we have something that, a positive outlook on Black history that Black people could point to in this country. And, there's a long way to go, but I do think that this has been a stepping stone for us to talk about our own narrative and change the understanding of what Black history is and what it means to be Black in this nation.
Absolutely.
So segueing from that, what does the fraternity that we love and that we are part of, Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, have to do with Black history?
Yeah, I want to start that one off. So our fraternity was founded in 1906. Actually, that's 3 years before the NAACP was founded in 1909. We actually have a bond with our organizations because we are two of the oldest organizations who have been fighting for civil rights. And even though our organization, Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, is a fraternity, is a non-for-profit, it has also been a catalyst for many social programs and many social advances when it comes to Black history in and of itself. The illustrious Dr. Martin Luther King was a brother of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Brother Thurgood Marshall, across New Chapter at Lincoln University, was a brother of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Brother Adam Clayton Powell was a brother of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. The first Black mayor of New York City was a brother of the fraternity. So in so many ways and so many facets, we have been on the front lines and have been the catalyst for change in the Black community. And I'm just so proud for myself to be a part of that history, and hopefully I can add to the illustrious history of Alpha.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the things that stands out to me about Alpha's role in Black history is when you think back to when our Seven Jewels founded the organization. I mean, Cornell is a predominantly white institute now, but if you think back to 1906, I mean, the treatment that they had to go through besides, just being individual Black men on campus, I can't even fathom. But 7 Black men and their predecessors who came together to try and formulate something to better themselves. And when you see 7 Black men walking across campus in that type of time, it's jarring to you. The mindset of that time is, how dare they have the nerve to accumulate in one area or congregate and try and do something to better themselves. So I really appreciate all the work that they've done, because I can't imagine what it must have been like to go through what they did and to do so with the excellence that they did it with. And another piece that I feel Alpha has contributed a great deal to in terms of Black history is, like Brother Wells mentioned, the illustrious lineage of brothers that have come through and crossed the sands into our organization. Brothers like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., brothers like Thurgood Marshall, brothers like Dr. Cornel West, all of these great brothers have contributed to American history, world history, and especially Black history in their own unique way. And as a young up-and-coming Black man in this world, that is definitely something that is aspirational for me. That is definitely something that pushes me and motivates me to do better, to do more, and to do it all for the right reasons.
Right, and just to add on to what the brothers have already stated, the fact that, we have such a longevity and such a illustrious legacy to build off of is amazing, especially for young Black men going through college, and especially at PWI such as here. It gives us a sense of a connection, a bond for brothers throughout the world, not just in the country but all over the world. So it's just amazing to see that, and the fact that Alpha has been there and been impactful in every situation. It's a blessing to see, and we will continue to thrive as brothers of Alpha and continue to uphold that light, even with new times and new ideas. And as the decades come along, we will continue to stay relevant for as long as we shall live.
And I think it's something that's important among us as college-age brothers as it stands right now. We know the history of Alpha. We know what the brothers of Alpha have done before us, but it's upon us to stand on their shoulders and continue to carry the light high and make sure that, years from now, the Alpha is still being made synonymous with social progress and civil rights and educational reform and criminal justice reform. It's not something that we could just look to the history and say, Alpha has done that. We have to continue to do that as brothers, and that's something that, I hope that each and every college-age brother in this nation, across the continent, across the world, really is able to understand and keep going with.
So finally, bros, what has the chapter of Delta Iota of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated mean to Black history on the campus of Rutgers?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the Delta Iota Chapter of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was the first undergraduate chapter at Rutgers, and it was the first minority organization on Rutgers campus. And similar to how our Seven Jewels founded the Alpha Chapter at Cornell University, is similar to how Delta Iota was founded in 1950, where we're still right in the throngs of racial tensions in the United States. And even though Rutgers is in the North, there was overt racism in the South and then more closet racism in the North. So to know what our founders and our chartering members did at this campus and how it has paved the way for brothers like us to come through and do great things on campus, start new organizations, assume leadership roles, do things in the community, start great nonprofits, and go on to have illustrious, decorated careers in whatever profession we choose to do so. It is something that I am forever grateful for. And when I wear these letters, when I think about why I decided to join this organization, these are the things that I think about and things that I recollect upon, knowing that everything that I do is to venerate them and live out their legacy.
As we celebrate Black History Month, we also celebrate our charting month, February 10th, 1950. We were chartered here on Rutgers University, New Brunswick. And it like Brother Lee said, our chartering members had to go through so much just to get progress and to develop this chapter, because we're still going through hardships now in 2022. So I can't even imagine what they had to go through, what they had to fight with Rutgers to do in order to develop Delta Iota Chapter, and the history, longevity, continue to uphold the light as brothers of Delta Iota, as we are connected to. It's just amazing to see that brothers are still coming through, still putting in the work, still making life-changing impact on the Rutgers community, and making sure that we uphold those manly deeds, scholarships, and love for all mankind.
As the brothers have already expressed, we were chartered here in 1950. To put that into perspective, Brown v. Board of Education happened in 1954. That was the official document, so to speak, that desegregated schools and made way for the integration of Black students and white students and all of the different students of different ethnicities and things of that nature. So with that being said in of itself, there was a project that happened with the university last year, the 2019, and it was called the 1619 Project, but that's like the global version of it. The version of it that was done here at Rutgers was called Scarlet and Black. And if you look at the amount of Black students that was at this campus up until around the 1950s area, there's about 4 Black students throughout the entirety of the campuses and colleges and universities per year. If you can put that into perspective, right now the university has about 65,000 students, right? It's always been the state university, or at least for the most part, it's been a state university. So the lack of Black presence on this campus led to the founding of the Delta Iota Chapter. And with the Delta Iota Chapter, we've had brothers who have come through this chapter who have done phenomenal things, for the country and for the state of New Jersey. We have Brother Michael A. Shipp, who was appointed a federal court judge, who was appointed by President Barack Obama. And things of that nature, like things that the brothers have done before us of the Delta Iota Chapter, and the longevity and how long we've been here, 72 years, you know, like our chapter was founded before a time where it was normalized for black students to be in the same classroom as white students, regardless of the region and country that you were in. In the South and the North, there was intense segregation, and New Jersey is still one of the most segregated states in the country. But with that being said, the Delta Iota Chapter has been able to survive through decades and times where, you know, racial strife was happening, the apartheid was happening. You had brothers of the Delta Iota Chapter who was on the front line trying to make sure that the apartheid in South Africa was stopped. So just the history and the longevity for me in and of itself shows the importance of the Delta Iota Chapter and black history on campus, not to mention the assistance with the creation of organizations like BMC, Haru, so forth and so on.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, we speak about lineage and how we are directly connected to brothers from the 80s. I can call up brothers from the 80s and ask them questions and pick their brains about how things were back in the day and how we can improve now. And for like college brothers, we wouldn't have that access like if we weren't part of the Delta Iota Chapter. So that's also amazing to see how like those connections through the lineage and our access and availability to such notable brothers is amazing to see, and that also impacts how we present ourselves and how we go about, you know, our college experiences.
Rose, before we close, I'd like to pose a question. In what ways do you see yourself contributing to black history and the legacy of Alpha?
Yeah, so for me, when I was doing my research about the fraternity, and one of the reasons why I wanted to join is because one of the jewels, he went to a prestigious university, of course, Cornell University. After he graduated, he could have took his talents and gone pretty much anywhere with the education that he was given, but he decided to go back to his hometown of Washington, D.C. and teach there, Jewel Nathaniel Allison Murray, and that's something that I always wanted to emulate. Like, I think that is the role of the black man or the black community who is college educated, something that Brother W.E.B. Du Bois kind of considered to be the talented 10th, and which I think it is that our role and our job to go to these universities that, you know, not all of our brothers and sisters get the opportunity to go to, and go back into the community and be able to diffuse and disseminate the knowledge that we were given, and be able to pass on the skills and technical trades that has made us so successful. So something that I am going to do after I graduate this spring is go down to Houston to teach social studies grades 4 through 8. Right now I'm in the process of getting certified. What I would like to do with that is to then go into educational policy, so that may involve being a superintendent or being on the board of curriculum for the middle school. I just want to do something where I can affect educational policy on an urban area where there is a certain amount of students who look like me.
For me, I'll be taking my talents to Boston to work for Procter & Gamble under Gillette. And I feel like inserting myself into a corporate ladder will change the kind of the perception of black engineers and black people in corporate. And so I feel like I can directly, you know, affect change within corporate, and especially for like a Fortune 500 company such as P&G, I can allow for better access for other students to come through and, you know, get their feet in the door and give them the knowledge and experience and wisdom that I develop once I make it to the corporate ladder, as those before me have done for me. So just adding on to the legacy of, you know, the black engineers and the legacy of just black people, and allowing those that are coming up in the world to, you know, use me as a tool and as a guide to better themselves as well is how I feel like I can contribute and will contribute to black history.
Great point, Bros. And for me, similar to Brother Wells, when I was doing research on the fraternity, I too had an alpha role model, and mine was Brother Robert F. Smith. And the things that he's done in the financial services industry and private equity are things that I aspire to do. It's why I'm like seeking a career in the financial services industry, so I can not only learn and accumulate the knowledge, but also have the financial capital to kind of put my money where my mouth is and invest in the black community, invest in our futures. One of the things that I would like to do before my time is up is to create a scholarship fund for students to provide them with full tuition scholarships to the college of their choosing. Being a part of Alpha has not only enabled me with the skill set and the tools to do so, but also inspired me by surrounding me with great brothers like Brother Sims, Brother Wells, and the brothers on a national level that continue to motivate me and push me to do more And so if I ever have doubts, I look around and I see that the company that I keep is amazing, and that motivates me.
Tear a little bit.
No, facts though, but that's something that I really value the most about this brotherhood is just being able to tap into the wealth of knowledge of individuals who have been here before me. Like Brother Sim said earlier, I've had hour-long conversations with brother who crossed in 1989, and we met a brother who crossed in 1979, and he has like this vast plan for what he wants our chapter to be. Things of that nature, like the fact that we can lean on the shoulders of the people who come before us is what Black history is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be for us to take the opportunity to see what's been done before us and how we can elevate their accomplishments and their legacy.
Absolutely. And so with that, we'd like to conclude our conversation. So we thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to keep posted on what we have coming soon, because there will be a lot more discussions between us, some of the other bros in the yard. So we appreciate you for sticking around. Yeah.
All right.
Let's get it, man.
06.
To the good bros.